Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 335. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible weekend, an amazing Sunday, and are ready to tune in and have some fun. We got a great guest for you tonight. You find him on Instagram as DaneilGrowPhotos. How you doing, Daniel? You want to tell us how you're doing? And I may have spoiled it, where we can find you. Well, we may be able to find you on some other social media accounts. You want to tell us all where we can find you? How
Just
you doing?
Daniel Grow Photos on Instagram.
Nice, nice. How you doing tonight? What you smoking on there?
OG.
Nice, nice, nice. You grow that yourself?
Nah, I could get this for like pretty good price.
Nice, nice. So, well, let's get down to the basics here. Might as well get down to it. When was your first time that you come across the plant? You want to tell us the first time
Yeah, I was 12 years
you
old and I was with my friends, and all of a sudden they were breaking down weed on a piece of cardboard. I never even seen them before. I was tripping. I was kind of excited because I only heard about weed. I never actually got to experience it. And then they said it was Girl Scout cookies. So I like tried it. I took 3 hits. I was having hella fun. So then like I rode my bike down a little hill and crashed it. But I was just having fun though. It was like kind of on purpose. I don't know how to say that shit. But I just like wanted to have fun. It was just a really fun type of weed at that time. And after that, I just really wanted weed. And that's pretty much how I got smoking.
nice, nice. So was it game on after that point? Was it like an everyday thing?
I
Man,
wanted it
some
to
of
be,
us
but
fall. No,
yeah, I wanted it to be an everyday thing. I wanted it to do more. They said it was $10 a gram, and I was 12 years old. How was I supposed to get that? So I just thought it was expensive, and you're just smoking your money away.
yeah. In first days though, few buddies, tens go a long way. Few doobies, yeah, they kind of stretch at that age and first experiences. So it's quite possible. It's quite possible. So about how long before it was you know, became pretty regular?
Um, Freshman year, I was smoking as much as I could. I was in a group home for a little bit, so they didn't like let me smoke. I was in trouble because they had me on probation for a little bit, and I was like, they actually made me go to like drug group for smoking weed. So I just tried to smoke before school. I tried to get away with it, but one time like I got caught, it was over. But after that, I started like smoking weed straight out of like then sophomore year I came back. Yeah, it was on.
Nice, nice. So how long was it? Would you? How long would you consider it to be medicinal? Do you still would you consider it recreational use today, or do you find a medicinal value in it today?
It's medicinal. Like I have a shoulder that got dislocated, and I also like broke, split the bone in there, so it kind of healed towards the tendon, and it's a little messed up today. I always mess with it, so it helps me like chill out. And I also have some mental health issues too, and it really helps with the mental health issues because it helps me like feel good, I guess, with anxiety.
Right on, right on. I can I can agree with that on both accounts. You know, I've definitely had some problems, a shoulder surgery as well. And one of the bitches about that shoulder pain is sleep. Good luck sleeping through, a terrible shoulder injury, because that's something that you lose right off the bat. We all know cannabis cannabis can help with that, that's for sure.
At one point, my mother actually spent $500 on a test of my DNA for cannabis because I was in the psych ward for a little bit. And then they said that I need indica CBD. And they said like sativa isn't good or something like that. Yeah, true story.
That that's crazy. I can't believe they were able to nail it down so good for you like that. So did you find that to be true? Is that still true today, that that's what you reach for, is the indicas?
No, not really. Like, I don't know. OG is pretty cool. And I would smoke on pretty much anything that's pretty good. I don't know. Everything is good. I like all the weed. I'm really a smoker. Like, for real. I used to go to the dispensary and they had like all the 50 jars of weed. Like, I grew up like that. The first time I was in a dispensary, I was 15 years old and I was just looking at all this kind of weed, all these different colors. And I just started grabbing different kind of stuff and trying it. It's really good.
I need to just step off camera real quick. I forgot to grab me and fill my tray before I sat down. I gotta grab a bud real quick. I'm very jealous of you smoking. There we go. There we go. I got something to chief on now. All right. So, you know, had you tried taking like a pharmaceutical avenue towards, both uh, the mental issue and the pain from your shoulder prior to dealing with it with cannabis? Hopefully, you were able to switch. If so,
No, so I got 5150 over a dozen times. And I've been trying like 12 different kind of medicines at least. Now I found one because we know what my problem is. Like, I have schizoaffective disorder and I also have autism, bipolar, OCD, PTSD. Um, yeah, that's what the doctor said. So I'm just like, they tried so many medicines on me. It made me like a whole bunch of side effects and stuff. But weed's always been there. So I take my medicine because I needed to stay sane. Like, I thought a little fucking, I mean, my bad. A bee was like a camera or something, like from the CIA, like for real. So I need antipsychotics to stay chill, but weed helps me in the social aspect too.
yeah, I gotta agree. Very much so. Very much so. Uh, so how long have you been using cannabis all together now? Can you give me a rough idea of, the grand scheme of things?
Like 7 years, I think.
It's a pretty short road.
Yeah,
So, how long have you been growing?
since I was 14.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
that was fun. I was on a houseboat and that's where I lived. So I used to have a few grow tents inside of there and grow on the roof at the same time and grow on the dock. And it used to be laid back. I used to buy cuts from
Nice. You want to tell
Craigslist.
us about the?
Yeah. It just started growing in 5-gallon buckets. I lived right next to like Orchard Hardware Supply when that was the thing. So, they would just leave out
And
free pots and stuff. Oh shit. Yeah. They would like sell me different nutrients and stuff. So I went through a whole bunch of kind of nutrients and I didn't like any of them because it made like I had success, but it's not as good as I do right now, like organic, like in Soham or something. Or Michigan mix, it's not the same. Like I used to just have just regular soil, I guess, whatever the fuck I could buy, mix it up. I just wanted to get their open bags for $3, so I could just mix it up with some of the native soil here, and then I would drug it up with all this nutrients. That was back when I didn't even have like an inline fan or nothing. I just like had a grow tent. They told me ceramic metal hotline was the best, so I just threw that together. I was growing Bubba Kush, Blue Dream, Green Craig, like what else? Sour Diesel, Trainwreck,
all good
Gorilla
ones.
Glue.
So how long did you stay in that setup before you mixed things up, stepped it up a little bit, or changed things up at all?
Every time I went to Flower, I always got psychotic or got to the hospital or something. So that shit got ruined plenty of times. So now I'm like taking medicine. Like I gotta take a shot every month. So I remind myself like Subcool had to do that shit too, like to stay alive.
So would you say that as I talk to a lot of growers, we all seem to find that just being in the garden to be a very therapeutic part of the cannabis plant without even having to ingest it. You know what I mean? There's just something very calming about being in your garden, tending to your plants. That seems to be, one of the greatest contributes to the plant without actually having to consume it. And I think a lot of medical patients that don't grow don't realize what a big factor that can be. Would you agree on that?
Being in the garden is very nice. Like just watching the plants, you can smell it, getting it on your fingers, it gets nice and sticky. Like you shouldn't do that though. It's just sometimes you knock a plant, but fuck, it just stinks in there. Like, oh my god, sometimes smells are insane. It just makes me really happy. Like I can't stop smelling it sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Definitely, definitely. So, what are some of your favorite terps or smells that from the cannabis plant? Which ones, if you could single it out to a few, what would they be?
I like sweet weed. Like I like skunk too actually. I like gas. Berry. Hazes. Gorilla glue kind of
All good.
smell.
So, which has been some of the favorites that you've grown out so far?
I like Blue Dream. I grew that out really good on the roof of the boat.
That sounds like an amazing experience, man. It seems like you would get some just amazing sun on top of a boat.
Yeah, it
uh,
was.
how how were the grows?
They were just in 5-gallon buckets, so they were little short plants. So about as tall as my waist. So, but the bud was amazing. Like it was the Frosty, it was like sugar coated in white resin oozing out. It was ridiculous.
So, are you? What's your grow setup like today?
I got 3 2x4s and 1 2x2.5, and I'm gonna get another 2x4, grow some cuts in it, but I gotta spray those cuts like the Dr. Zymes and Nukem. Make sure I don't get my shit fucked up from seeds that I sprouted, because those things are healthy. I just got seeds. I got Mass Medical Strain sent me some deadly swabby seeds and told me that would help. Like, he thinks it would help. When I was trying a different medicine just a little bit ago, and it was making me gain a lot of weight real quick, like 50 pounds in 5 months quick. So they like, he said this one makes you not hungry. So I thought that was cool. So it's a pre-release strain. He just barely gave some out at the seed banks, well-grown seeds, um, as a freebie, a few of them. But I had them way before that. Mine are in flower already. These things are ridiculous in the smell because the terpenes, like the, what's it called? The cannabinoids in this are rare. It has a different kind of profile than most of the plants because it's from the Swabi region of Pakistan. So it was bred there for 40 years by someone who was keeping it a secret until they found out. And now he can't really grow there anymore. So he sent it to iRaisin, and he sent it to Mass Medical Strains to put it out there. And then he crossed it with Deadly Sativa. So it has some really wild cannabinoids in there that make the resin different. Like, it's more sticky and oozy pronounced, and like compared to the East Coaster lamb I'm growing and the Star Pupil I'm growing and the Chick Magnet is different. I mean, the Chick Magnet also is like that. I mean, like, is the Deadly Swabby is really different actually. But my Chick Magnet is different too because I only sprouted one seed of that, and I got like a dwarf one. It was weird because it's supposed to have a 4-time stretch, and this one barely had like not even a 1-time stretch. This thing is tiny. Like, this, it's kind of funny. Um, I don't know, but the terpenes on that is ridiculous too. That one has terps like very sweet, like a clementine. I don't know how to say this, like a tangerine or something. It smells real good, and it's real frosty too. And it's like the trichomes, they're really like milky. It's ridiculous as well.
So, how did you get the name Daniel Grows Photos? Do you grow photos? Just photos?
What?
Or do you grow autos as well?
Oh,
Tell me
I
how.
was thinking about photographs. Oh, my bad. I get what you're saying though. Yeah, but that's a good point. I do grow photo periods. Like, I just recently grew an auto and it sucks.
I haven't had very good luck with them myself, but I try to stay open minded. It's been a while since I've ran some, so maybe it's was just the time period myself.
I'm open minded about it too, though. I wouldn't mind trying a different one.
So how long have you been? How long was in? How long were you growing before you decided you just had to go straight organic or two organics?
From 2018, no, 16, 17, 18. Just since 2020, I went organic, or 2019, the end of 2019.
Would you say that the quality of your cannabis increased in the switch?
I don't know, like growing with nutrients never worked out for me because I always got, actually, it did like a long time ago. I grew like I grew plants and nutrients and that they got big and everything, but how am I gonna say it? Like it always messed up because I always like got 5150. It happened repetitively, like right at the good point. But now like I'm all right. But I've been growing for like 4.5 years. I've harvested plenty of times, but I messed up more times than I've succeeded growing synthetically. It's not it's not even funny. You can mess up a lot of ways doing it that way, I think. Because I've messed up a lot of ways doing it that way. You gotta it's more of a taking a healthy plant and doing a whole bunch of like extra stuff in a way. So I don't know. Now I use the leaves because I heard it's good for health purposes. I use them in smoothies. I couldn't even. I didn't want to touch the fucking. I don't want to touch the leaves on that shit if I sprayed it with some garbage to take care of something. I don't know, or just, or if I'm even giving it nutrients, I don't really want to like ingest the leaves like that. I wouldn't feel the same about the plant when I'm in the garden with it at all. Actually, that's just how I feel. But I'm open minded to learn different ways because I never considered cocoa or deep water culture. I'm just talking about drugging it with like advanced nutrients and making it, spraying it with stuff, shit like that. Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like you were on the right path with the organics. To be honest with you, avoiding as much as the nutrients as possible, and as far as IPM, man, cleanliness is definitely your best defense first and foremost. Is what I find for sure. Cheers, Chronic Wonder.
yeah.
So, what are the some of the lights that you're using today?
From Rapid LED, I use cobs. I keep it at around 82 Fahrenheit, and the cobs are the CXB3590 at 3500 kelvins, and the chilled logic pucks, they work out nice.
It's nice. Gotta love those LEDs for sure.
Yes.
So, have you noticed any kind of difference in, like, say, terp profile and overall plant health? The plants that you were growing under the metal halide to the plants that you're growing under LEDs today.
I grew some monsters under metal halide. It was pretty ridiculous. Some Bubba Kush. Those things really took off. I had 2 in 1 pot and 5-gallon pots, and I had 8 5-gallon like Home Depot pots. I just divided it with some. I used tinfoil back then. Just divided it right in half. Filled each one with soil and put a clone in each one. That shit filled out quick.
So, who are some of your favorite breeders that are some of the strains that you're running there? Are you a fan of any certain breeder, or
I'm
sometimes when
just
you get stuck, you can get stuck on a certain one. What are you? Tell me about it yourself.
well, Mass Medical Strain sent me some seeds, so I had to sprout like all of them. Well, not all the seeds, but every variety.
Did you find some winners over there? If somebody was interested in the mass medical, what would be something that you would suggest for them?
The one that's gonna come up is Deadly Suave. I really like that one. It's in April, I believe.
Are you tending to grow outdoors this year, or do you stay basically indoors?
Let's stay indoors.
Do you mind me ask where you're growing out of?
What do you mean?
Where are you at? I heard you reference kind of Michigan a little bit. Are you here in Michigan?
No, it's Northern California.
Oh, nice. You could be growing outdoors then.
Yes.
So do you just stay indoors for security reasons, or how come you don't utilize some of that awesome Northern California climate?
Because I spend a lot of time right here in the garden in my own. It takes a lot, and like what I don't know, where am I gonna grow at? You know, I haven't figured that out yet. Like, yeah, I would be open to it.
Right on, right on. Do you train your plants in any? Do you train your plants? You want to tell us how your system of growing?
It depends on which plant it is, because Deadly Swabby needs topping, because that grows really tall. East Coaster Limb doesn't need a topping, but it's cool. I'm trying topping it now. A clone of it. Yeah.
Do you have a preferred drying method? Do you just like cut it and hang? Do you a wet trimmer? Do you dry trim?
I would always like dry trim. I would hang it up right here next to the tents.
Yeah, as much as I just can't get myself to enjoy the dry trim myself, to be honest with you.
Why?
I just find myself it's very time consuming, and I tend tend to take too much, be too critical of it, I think, because I know that's the final, basically. That's, that's it. So when I wet trim, I can trim close, and a lot of stuff recedes into the bud as it dries, and it's moreover, it's closer to being done. At that point, you're just kind of chopping it off the stem. But yeah, it's more just so damn time consuming. Moreover, it's the dry trim.
What parts of it would you take off?
Oh, as much as the sugar leaf as possible. I try to get in there as close as possible when I'm trimming. I like to trim it as close and then leave it on the stem if I'm hanging. But if I'm using it in the dryer there, my herbs now, then I destem it and pack it as close as I can. So, do you do anything else? Do you make anything with your trim or any kind of extracts? Uh, the plant, you pretty much use it all, as you stated. You use the leaves. You make extracts, butters, or any of the other goodies.
I would like smoke it and make it into edibles.
Do you have a favorite edible?
No, I just like the ones that are really strong though. Sometimes it doesn't affect me.
Sometimes, yeah, I think I've got a little theory on edibles and if they do affect, and sometimes they don't affect. Because I know people on both sides of the fence, to be honest with you. And I'm one. I'm one, to be honest with you. Sometimes they work, like you say, well, better than other times they do. And I think that when they don't work, say, especially if, say, you've made a batch yourself and they're all consistent, you know what I mean? From one to the other. They're working one day and not working one day. I think that's your body as you ingest it's telling it to be processed in a different way. You know, you're not gonna eat this edible and get a psychedelic high from it today. You know what I mean? The liver's gonna process it. We're gonna put it towards the pain in your knee, or the pain in your shoulder, and so that way you don't feel the high off it, but you feel more of a body effect, maybe a little bit lessening of the pain. Is what I'm gathering. Is what I think happens in, like, let's say, a misfire with an edible like that. I think it's just being processed in a different way.
That's interesting. So it could be like the same amount of potency, but your body would take it differently.
Yeah, your body's just processing it different, like saying, "Hey, we're not getting high today. We're going to use this edible for pain." You know what I mean? Instead of the high. I think your body dictates the high like that. So a lot of times when people tell me that, like, I've got a couple friends that, man, I ate these edibles and they were super strong. I didn't get high. I'm like, dude, you should check a doctor. you might have some shit wrong with you that you don't even know about. You know what I mean? That's what I always jokingly tell them. But I honestly believe there's some truth to that. You know what I mean? There's just something else that they're dealing with that their body won't let them get high off that edible. It's being processed for a more medicinal, uh, in a more medicinal way.
That sucks. So like, what if you like make it hella potent though?
Same. I think maybe it'd be just as potent, but it would put you out so you could get the rest. You know, rest with healing. In healing, there has to be some rest. So I can see if it was super strong and just knocking you out, so you could fucking your body could heal.
Huh. How do you make your butter?
How do I make my butter? I actually I have a magic butter machine that I am super fond of, and I'm with you on the like strong aspect of my edibles. So my recipe, I try to stick to 10 grams of flour per stick of butter and a teaspoonful of the light in there in that magic butter machine, and it usually makes some very strong butter. I actually prefer to make it as strong as possible, and then that way when I do use it, I can either make something just supersonic strong, or I can reduce it back and then add more butter to kind of take out some of the weedy taste, but yet still have a decent buzz. But
Are the mushrooms kicking
I'm
you yet?
they're starting to. I would say they're starting to for sure. So yeah, edibles are definitely good, man. I've actually had them so strong that I've had a psychedelic experience with the butter and edibles. To be honest with you, I actually made a batch of butter and then did kind of glove up when I was like squeezing out that ball. It just kind of let it run down my arm, so I had that hot butter just seeping into my skin and didn't realize it, and then turned around and made more edibles, which resulted into a laughing spell that went about 4 hours. 4 hours of, almost psychedelic laughing, which was very nice. Very nice.
So when you squeeze a sock of butter, like it gets you hot.
We absolutely, absolutely. If when like you're straining that butter and you're like trying to get the rest of it out, yeah, that it can soak into your skin because it's already activated, and it's just like rubbing on, like say a THC cream or anything else. It's an oil that will soak into your skin, and it's just a matter of time from the time it soaks into your skin that you start feeling it. Yeah, that's one of the benefits of actually you can use that same machine and produce it into like a coconut oil, and you can use that same coconut oil to infuse it into like lotions, and use lotions for pain and you know medicating as well. So do you dab at all? Do you use extracts like that?
Um, no, I just smoke flower.
Just flour?
Yes, but I would take a dab. Definitely, I'm hella open to all that.
I was just curious on if you found any more benefits from the dabbing, because it's such a stronger you know uh, intense high. If you if it, found any more benefits from it like that, or if you preferred like the entourage effect from the flower.
The flower is really the best thing for me, but dabs are like crazy. Like you're right, it is really potent, but it's kind of harsh. But not if you turn down the heat. Like I haven't had hella dabs. I guess I've always been smoking flower.
So, do you make any bubble hash or anything, any other product? How do you, any spoils? I shouldn't say product. Do you harvest any other spoils from the plant, from the waste? Like, because I know I enjoy some bubble hash as well out of my trim.
I only made bubble hash one time. I think I should do that shit again.
I agree. I think you should as well. I think you should as well. Uh, I'm actually making ice as we speak. As we speak for a run, hopefully either tomorrow or one of the following days very soon. I've, I've got a chest full of ice trays that I've just been cracking and refilling. Got 5 gallon buckets in that freezer, busting them open into the 5 gallon buckets, refilling the trays for hash day. Love the hash day. So, is there some any strains that you would like to get in your garden or try out?
I'm thinking of getting from Believe his Divine Banana #4.
What sounds appealing about that one for you?
It checked off most of the boxes for a $20 cut, pretty much.
That's a fucking good answer right there. That's fair enough. Uh, so, if you could improve your garden right now, money wasn't an object. What would you change and add to your garden?
If I had a place I could rent out or something, I would put hella 2x4s, like just all over the walls.
Do you prefer
I
tents
like
over a room?
little,
Have you
I like little ones because you could like do different things in them.
I can agree with that as a man that sits in front of a bunch of tents. The microclimates are definitely handy. You know what I mean? You can utilize it more of a perpetual harvest.
Yes, that would be nice. You could do it. Yeah.
Only done with tents and small places, that's for sure.
But I would be open to doing a room.
Definitely, definitely enjoy the room, man. It was hard going from the room back to the tents. But
Why'd
as
you
I've
go
been
back?
doing it so well, space, to be honest with you. Where I was prior to this, I was able to have more rooms. I had 3 rooms, and I actually had a couple of tents that I used for veg as well. But I liked the rooms, and then I moved to where I am now, and I reduced in space. And because I couldn't set up rooms immediately, the only way to keep going and keep the perpetual going and keep my patients happy was to set up tents. It's basically small rooms, and it that's the only way I can keep it going for several reasons. Uh, Tents allow me to utilize better time because I can work during the day. I have some that alternate because of power reasons. Uh, so half of the tents come on at night, and half of the tents go on during the day. So when some shut off, some come on. So it's that's what I do. When the lights go off, I zip some up, I open some up. You know what I mean? It's a switch. So the power is kind of being utilized a little more wisely, but that's the only way that I can keep a perpetual going to where I can veg in the same room and keep multiple flowering phases going. It's only through tents in the space that I have. So, unfortunately, stuck in tents until I get that bigger space.
Well, why are you in the state that you're in?
I was born here, and so far I wouldn't say stuck here, but uh, I like it here, I guess. I'd be happier if I could take the same surroundings and just. It'd be nice all the year round. Get a little tired of the snow, but I guess. Or do you mean just the house itself?
I was this shit is so cold, man.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. Is that a different strain there than what you started on? I remember you
Nah,
saying you had a few different strains.
I was just rolling up OG. I'm smoking on
Right on.
this and getting the other shit off.
There you go.
It helps me like smoke for free, I guess.
I can relate. I can relate with that. So, what do you do to help the insects out? I mean, you mentioned earlier, an IPM problem. Uh, what are you, just Dr. Symes? And
No, like nematodes.
I appreciate the bio attack, that's for sure. Keep them chemicals out of the garden.
I was thinking about it because they didn't little fungus nest. I had some fungus nests. I got some right now in one of the tents, but it's not even that bad. So I'm just treating those some nematodes, but it's not going away quickly because I guess it like doesn't go away that fast. But it's
No,
not an
they can be
outrageous problem.
they can be rough. Sometimes cutting back on the watering a little bit, keeping it a little less moist. Definitely a fan growing like blowing across like the soil surface, the bottom of your plants. They can't fly and keep in a steady place if there's a nice breeze going across, the bottom of the medium. Really helps knock things down. A couple easy and inexpensive ways to deal with it for sure.
What kind of a fan would you recommend for a 2x4 for that kind?
For or a 2x4, anything, just a maybe even a small 5-10 inch oscillating fan, or they actually even make these little micro fans anymore that you can buy at Walmart that are super economical. I got one right there, I believe. Hold on, they're $5. Right here, something like this for a 2x4, which plug in or to a USB. You know, something like this blowing across the top of your pots. It's just enough breeze to knock them down. And this is like a little 5-inch fan. This is something like this is only $5 at you know, Walmart. But I prefer, if at all possible, I like the oscillators. You know, so it just kind of brushes back and forth, and it's just something, not one direction that they may get used to or be able to fly around. So,
What kind of
something
fan
about
is
that.
that?
This is a mainstay from Walmart. Just a little mainstay is the name brand. These things put off for the money. They actually do put off a nice little breeze for a small area like that. So you roll them long joints? Boy, those long joints are tough to roll, man. The old New Yorker style. That's what we called those back in the day, the New Yorker.
Just some of these. Why do they
So do
call
you
them New
choose some?
Yorkers?
I never really knew, to be honest with you. That's the way I just always knew that the extra long, kind of skinnier joints were always passed to me as my elders always called them. My stepdad. My stepdad was the first one to pass me a double paper, you know, kind of skinny long joint. Go in New York, but for sure. So, are you in a water only soil right now, or do you actually put some amendments or nutrients on top of whatever you're growing?
Just Michigan mix, and so if I add anything, is some photosynthesis plus.
So you guys get the Michigan mix all the way out there in Cali, get the M3 all the way over there. That's pretty
Yes.
cool.
Why?
I'm just honored that I'm cool. Think it's cool to see, you know, my home state a custom mix that started here go nationwide.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's all. I think that's awesome. You know, a small cannabis-based company being able to get their product. It's hard to get, say, soils, you know, because testing can be a bear from state to state on as far as labeling and things like that can be tough to get a license in certain states. So it's awesome, and especially California. California regulations can be brutal, especially listing organic ingredients and or being able to call certain things organic can just be tough. So besides cannabis, what else do you enjoy, my friend?
I haven't had that much of a good time before cannabis.
What do you like to? Well, cannabis can't be the only thing. Do you? Well, cannabis makes everything fun. Cannabis makes everything fun. So what do you? You can be enjoying other things on cannabis. You know what I mean? You enjoy going out to the park, fishing, going out to the show. All can be done on cannabis. What do you enjoy when you're outside the garden? Basically, is the question.
I don't know. This, I haven't had a good time. I've been like, my life sucked before cannabis.
Well, that's
Um,
you you know, I think a lot of us can agree with that. To be honest with you, I think everybody can agree with cannabis enriching our lives for sure. I know this plant has definitely been a staple in my life. It's well, basically, since the first time, that's for sure. It wasn't frequent every day that first time, but it was soon thereafter. And once it was definitely a staple, and it's definitely been with me for quite some time. So, how? I guess this is a good question for you. How long would you think cannabis has been in my life?
in your life,
Yeah.
I don't know, since you were 6.
Well, no, no, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Well, the
My
first
20
time that
years.
I actually smoked was right around 10. So that would mean that cannabis has been in my life for oof, a staggering 39 years. The plant's been in around or near my hand for 39, 20 of which I've been growing. So I owe a lot to this gal, that's for sure.
Without antipsychotics, I just barely got the right dose. I was really tripping. Like, nothing, I was miserable also. It was, I would do like shit. I would wreck, I don't know how to say it, but these mushrooms are kicking in. But all I'm saying is, now that I got the right dose, I could actually like focus on cannabis.
It's definitely a ride, and you know, hats off to you for going through all that ride because there's so many out there, and finding that correct dose can be terrible from what I've heard and from a lot of people that's had to go through that battle. The side effects from one drug to another, the correct amount of the dose, all can be brutal. Can be brutal. So shout out to you for enduring and finding some comfort. Oh, especially with cannabis, man. I love people enriching their lives with the cannabis plant. That's for sure.
I was trying to spend my time learning about it. So what's your suggestion on trying to learn about it? Like,
Books, there's lots out there anymore. There's tons of YouTube content out there. There's tons of people doing a lot of great things. There's years and years of YouTube content, that's for sure. Well, if I, I take that back, there's like we've lost a lot of them over the years due to purges from YouTube, and unfortunately, we've lost some as of recently. You know, Med Grower One's channel, all his hard work, years and years of content, stripped from him recently. But this is the golden age. I've said this a lot. I'm almost jealous of uh, the new growers and their capabilities to be able to learn and run with this plant so much quicker than people like myself that started out at a much earlier date. The knowledge is everything you need to know about growing is only a couple of searches away. Either, YouTube, Google, they'll take you to a forum or find you directly to some sources that can help you for sure. It's a golden time to start taking up growing for sure. Any aspect that you want to know, organics, plant training, IPM, tons of videos out there. And what that's equated to is a lot of amazing growers that are able to take this game earlier on than people like myself that will take it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of great growers that are in their early 20s that are amazing now from the knowledge that from this wealth of knowledge that's out there, basically from a few searches and out there for free. Taking that knowledge and taking the cannabis growing to a whole new level. You know what I mean? So it's a golden time, and it really is for anybody that's wanting to grow this plant.
to grow this plant, I learned you gotta be like a loner, pretty much. You can't have no one around.
It doesn't hurt, and it seems to be a common trait. I don't think that I don't think you have to be. I think it just seems for the most part the introvert is part of the trait. It's definitely true. Definitely true. But it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? But a lot of us are for sure. I think, to be honest with you, I think that's what makes this community what it is. To be super honest with you, my friend. Uh, before all this and my before friends like my friend Subcool, tons and tons of respect to Subcool. We all were introverted and fucking growing and hiding behind closed doors. And we wanted to fucking talk, you know what I mean? About cannabis and whatnot, but we just didn't relate to a lot of other folks in a lot of other ways. But there's something about the cannabis plant that bonded us in a lot of ways, or bonded us in general. So when we were all seeking out to learn, some knowledge how to do better and better with this plant, we found these small forums and found out there was people just like ourselves out there, but we could operate with the anonymity of a screen name or, you know, just a photo. So we could communicate with one another and still be our introvert selves. But it was definitely a common trait, you know. Moreover, the subcool crowd, late night, third shift, we all came running when that cat fucking came on. We couldn't wait to mingle with one another in these cannabis chat rooms. So I think you're right. I think introvert's an underlying trait, but it's not mandatory. We take anybody that wants to grow this plant. So, do you see yourself upscaling or moving to a bigger grow at any point? Would you like to see yourself upscaling?
I have no idea what's gonna happen in the future, but I'm just trying to invest money into ways that would make more money.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I do want to thank you, Chad, for bringing that up, man. I hope you did have a great birthday there, Mike B. I was able to give you a shout out this morning, but again, I hope you had a great birthday. I try to keep track of birthdays around here, Daniel. I see
My
in
birthday
chat
is
that
Subcool's birthday.
you September 29th. Your birthday is
Yes,
September 29th. Nice. That's an easy one to remember. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you share a birthday with a fellow legend, my friend. I'm glad you share the same day. Cool people.
I tapped into his live like at least 100 times.
He was a fucking great dude, man. He is definitely missed in a lot of ways. A lot of he was a very good friend of mine, but I am very honored to talk with people, and I love hearing some cool stories because you know I can't. I wish he could hear all the stories collected together, like I've been able to hear them. You know what I mean? Because he's touched a wide swath of people. You know what I mean? Helped out. You know, in a very wide variety of ways. But fucking cool cat for sure. So, what would be some of the best? What would be some of the things that you took away from our friends up cool there?
It was Mendo Dope was the ones who told me about Subcool on their song. Like they shouted out Subcool.
That's pretty awesome. That's the second time I've heard that this week, and I that always makes me smile because I always remember it. For me, I remember it the other way around. Maybe it's not because I'm not from the West Coast or whatever, but I had known of Sub way before Mendo Dope, and probably wouldn't have heard of Mendo Dope if it hadn't been for Sub Cool singing it through his videos and whatnot. And so it was the other way around for me. I actually had heard of Mendo Dope through Sub Cool, and like eventually doing songs with him, you know, and about him. So that's pretty awesome. Either way, I'm glad you made the connection.
It was when I was 14. I was a sophomore. That I was a rapper in high school, like a freestyle rapper, and I used to like try to get clothes and stuff nobody could get. And I had some true religions, that were really dope. And somebody said, I'll give you these 3 ounces of weed for your true religions. And I used to think, I want some true religions. I don't even wear. I just want to have them. And then he said, no, I think I'm going to get $800 out of 3 ounces. Yeah, that's how I started. It came with 8 grams of seeds per ounce. He said it was some Boy Scout cookies. And I was starting to look up how to grow it, and then found Mendo Dope, and I was a follower since.
Right on. I'm taking me some Mendo Dope. You got their new album? Have you bought the new album?
You know, I have it on YouTube.
Nice, nice. I've been rocking the shit out of that Legends. This one's for the Legends.
Oh
You dig
yeah,
it?
with Ed Rosenthal.
A bunch of good ones there. Well, they got a lot of good tones. I think that's another thing too. I believe a lot of people don't even know a lot of how many tunes they've got. Actually, they've got a whole lot of albums that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. But man, a lot of great tracks that go pretty far back.
I want to grow weed like that someday. You know,
Yeah, I think we'd all like to grow some plants like that, my friend. I think we'd all like to grow some. So, do you rap? I heard you kind of mention that you did rap.
nah, that was the high school rap battle.
Right on, right on. You never know. You never know.
But I did a lot of those stuff. I was trying to like be like that.
Right on, right on. So, do you ever see yourself taking that outdoors? And can't grow
If I
Mendo Dope
could,
sized plants unless you take them outdoors like Mendo Dope. Shit, you got one up on me. You close. You in Northern Cali. This is Northern Cali. That's a good tone right there. That's got some good ass bass, that one. Northern California by Mendo Dope.
I don't want to do any like wrong moves or anything. I have to check out everything. I don't know about doing that. I just barely finished high school a little bit ago.
Nice. Well, it is what it is. But at least you are growing the plant, man. You gotta start somewhere.
I don't know how to do all that. Like, I need some, I don't know, like guidance or something, how to, what to do. Like, that's how I feel. Boy, are these mushrooms kicking in for you?
Yeah, they are, my friend. Terrifyingly, they are. I believe I can hear crickets. I believe I can hear some crickets at some points. Oh,
I
so
was kind of scared of mushrooms for a little bit because I had a bad trip on that shit because I just ate a whole bunch and I didn't even weigh it. So I was really like hallucinating. It was scary. But this is not that. So I figured I was just chilling and try it.
I'm glad. I'm glad. So psychedelics have come a long way as well.
Okay.